Alright, so like I said, we've added and subtracted. Today we're going to multiply and divide. We've talked about the exponent buttons, the square button. Some of you may even have an x cubed, I'm not sure. Up above the square root button, you may have a square root button. Up above these, you probably have like this, which would mean you could take any root. You can't just take square root. Any power you can take a number to. Like you could take something to the third power, so you could also take the number's cube root. Okay, so while we're here, let's talk about that. This is above one of these buttons. So what does that mean? You either have to use shift or second button. Alright, so type in 3, and then this button and 8. 3, and then this button and 8. You can see if it gives you 2. That says, what would I cube to give me 8? 2. Cube root, this is why the 3 comes first, because that goes here in the index number, and the 8 is substituted here, so that's how you undo any power. If you could take something to the 10th power, you can also take the 10th root. So it's not just about squaring and square roots. Alright, let's look at example 1. X plus x is what? 2x. X times x is x squared, okay? So 2x times 3x is 6x squared, and 2x times negative 4 is negative 8x. And I have simplified because I have removed parentheses. And are there any like terms to combine? No, you have to have like terms. The same variable with the same exponent. There it is. Alright. This is also the distributive property. That's the purpose of this candy down here. Remember we talked about distributing candy and giving 1 to each person, the equal number to each person. So this negative 2 is going to be multiplied by everything inside the parentheses. So that would be negative 10a plus a. Now notice if my binomial here inside the parentheses is already in descending order, then my answer is also in descending order. Descending order is standard form. That means the most commonly accepted form, okay? Alright, let's continue on. Alright, let y'all do these two. Alright, the first problem here. The first problem would be, what's the answer? 3x times negative 5x would be negative 15x
minus 4.
What's x times x?
2x.
During your math, we were talking about that x plus x is 2x, but x times x is what, y'all?
1x.
So that louder, he didn't hear it. X squared. Alright, and then 3x times negative 4 is
12x.
negative 12x.
Negative 12x.
Yeah, because they got different signs. Alright, the second problem would be minus 16. Very good. You guys have those? Any questions? Alright, let's look at this. I'm going to simplify the expression. This one is a trinomial, this one is binomial, but what property do I have here? The distributive. Don't have it here. So I will just remove parentheses, because to simplify means to remove parentheses. And this this case, all I have to do is remove them, but in this case, I'm gonna do the distributive property. So -3 times 2x, and then -3 times -y. What term do you think would come first if I were putting this in standard form? The x's, the y's, or the numbers? What do you think? What would you just be tempted to do? The x, y? Alphabetically. Alright, so 5x minus 6x is -1x. 3y and 3y is 6y, and then my constant is last. Any questions about those? I'll tell you what's good about multiplication division. You don't care if they're like terms or not, you can multiply anything. But with addition and subtraction, remember, you have to have like terms. So once we break it down from here, then we gotta go back and say, oh, I'm gonna combine only like terms. Alright, so you guys do this one. What do you think? Tell me what to write. Like I was not here today and you're helping a friend that wasn't here. What do I write first?
I got 5b.
Right here, what would you do?
Chapter 26.
Yes, sir. And then what would I have?
14. I got
If I multiply those, what do I have?
12b.
-12b. And then if I multiply it here, I would have, good job. All right, now let's put the like terms together. Your final answer would be,
-10b.
yes, sir.
Minus 4c. Minus 9.
There you go. All right, anybody have questions? All right, let's divide. We've multiplied, let's divide. All right, now, one big mistake that a lot of people make, whether they're in Algebra 1 or Pre-Cal, is that they are very tempted to do what right here? Mark them out. Cannot do that. Here's the note. Don't cross cancel over addition and subtraction. Remember that. That is important from now on, no matter how far you go in math. Remember that. Don't cross cancel over addition and subtraction. What this means is that these two terms in the numerator share a common denominator, and if you just cross them out here, it looks like it's plus 6, but it's really not, because 6 is also divided by 2. So this would actually be x plus 3. You can separate it out like this, or you can do that in your head, but just don't forget, do not cross this way, don't cross this way. They actually share a common denominator. All right, you guys try this one. Alright, if we split them up, you know, like before. And you have to be really careful right here, because this would be a good place in this. Look at that negative right there. Alright, so what would this be? Very good. And this would be? Yeah. You see what I'm talking about? That would be a good place to miss it because they have different signs. Alright, let's look at this. What do I call an equation that has an x squared? Starts with a q. Quadratic, yeah. They still, whether it's linear or quadratic, in this particular problem, they're just sharing the denominator of 2. So my final answer would be x squared plus 3. You still just split them up. Now my denominator is pretty simple. It's just a 2. It doesn't have an x in it yet. You know, we're not getting too deep into the exponent rules. Alright, here we go. Now my denominator has become negative. Is that going to make a difference? Yeah, with the signs it will. This would be 8x divided by -4, and this will be -4 divided by -4. Alright, so what do you think that this would give us? -2x, and what does this give us? Because we've got like signs. Plus 1, right? Alright, so that would be a good place to miss it too. So what's your sign? No, actually, we can do all kind of complicated algebra. If you're negative in there, it messes this up. Alright, you guys do these two. Which would be what?
2x to the second minus
2x to the second minus 2. Very, very good. second one would be, negative two x squared. Just easy stuff, guys? Okay, so we've added, we've subtracted, we've multiplied, we've divided, we've done integers, we've talked about properties, we've done order of operations, and all that has just been review stuff, okay, so far, so good. Our assignment is here, let's copy that down for tomorrow.